In this video, I am going to show you how to group a pivot table by date data, such as month, day, or year. So pivot tables are very useful for summarizing and analyzing data, but you need to know how to use them properly. So there are a few intricacies with getting the data to display the way that you want them to that you need to learn. And once you do learn it, you will find that it is very useful. So to show you how to group a pivot table by month, I have this example data here where I just have the sales for a department, the revenue, and dates. And what I'm going to do is create a pivot table that will show us the total revenue for the clothing department per month. So before we get started, the one key before you actually create your pivot table is to make sure that your date column is formatted properly as dates. So if you have an issue with this tutorial or with getting this to work properly, it may just be the date column isn't actually dates. So you may want to check that out. But now let's get started on creating the pivot table. So I'm going to create the pivot table by highlighting my data, and then I'm going to go to Data, Pivot Table. I always like to create my pivot table on a new sheet. If you want, you can select existing sheet. So I'm going to leave it on new sheet, and I'm going to select create. And now I have this blank pivot table here, and I need to start filling it out. So again, what I want is department, and I want revenue. So in rows, I'm going to add department, and then what I'm going to do is add revenue under values. And so now I have the total revenue for the department. But what I want actually is to have some columns with the date information now so that the data is grouped together by date. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to come to columns and I'm going to add date. And so now it displays every single date that is in my raw data, but we want to group it by month. So to do that, it's relatively simple. So once you have the dates in your pivot table, you right click on any date and you will find this option, Create Pivot Date Group. And from here, you have all the options for the pivot date groups that you can create. So what I want to do is month, and you can see now I have my pivot table summarized by month. And now everything looks really neat, and I can make some analysis and compare the total revenue for each month. So again, you right click on any date, and there you will find the Create Pivot Date Group. So whatever kind of date you want to organize your pivot table by, you will find all of the options here. So you can do year, you can do quarter, you can do day, you can do week, month, well, day of week. It doesn't look like there's a week option in here right now, but this is where you find all the options for grouping your pivot table by various dates. So hopefully you found this useful. It's not really that hard to do once you know that option is there. So just let me know if you have any questions. Thank you for watching the video. If you haven't already, make sure to hit the subscribe button. If you have any questions or content suggestions, just let me know in the comments, and I'll try my best to answer everyone.